Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. New undisputed WWE Universal Champion crowned at WrestleMania Sunday. Roman Reigns is your new undisputed WWE Universal Champion. The main event of WrestleMania 38 Night 2 saw Reigns defeat Brock Lesnar in a brutal winner-takes-all unification bout. This is the first time the company has unified the WWE Universal title and the WWE title. Lesnar won the WWE title back at Elimination Chamber in February and held the strap for 43 recognized days in his 7th reign. Reigns won the WWE Universal Championship back at Payback in August of 2020, defeating Braun Strowman and the former champion The Fiend Bray Wyatt in a no-holds-barred triple threat. Reigns held the strap for 580 recognized days in his second championship reign. Vince McMahon wrestles at WWE WrestleMania 38 Night 2. WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon ended up wrestling at WrestleMania 38 after all. Last night's WrestleMania Sunday event saw Pat McAfee defeat Austin Theory while McMahon watched from ringside. Vince actually came out before the match and gave Theory an introduction, billing him as a future WWE Universal Champion. Theory's entrance featured the White Striped Seven Nation Army and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. After the match, Vince checked on Theory at ringside but had words with McAfee after the SmackDown commentator invited him into the ring. Vince took off his coat and shirt for a big pop from the crowd, revealing a tank top and jacked physical condition. McMahon entered the ring and faced off with McAfee as a referee stood between them. This allowed Theory to drop McAfee from behind as Vince laughed. The bell finally rang as Vince clotheslined McAfee. Vince sent McAfee into the turnbuckles and beat him around the ring for several minutes. Fans chanted "You still got it" as Vince controlled the match, which was more like a street fight or brawl type bout. Theory interfered again, and finally Vince brought a football. The finish saw Vince punt kick the football into McAfee's chest for the pinfall victory. After the match, Vince and Theory stood tall together as no chants played. Vince encouraged Theory to pose for the crowd, but AT&T Stadium came unglued when the glass broke and out came WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin. Vince and Austin had a few words, but Vince tried to sell Austin on the up-and-coming superstar. Theory then attacked, but Austin destroyed him and hit a Stone Cold Stunner to send him out of the ring. Austin ended up having a beer toast with Vince, but he dropped him with a Stone Cold Stunner instead. Vince stumbled a few steps against the ropes, but Austin caught him and finished the stunner. Austin continued his beer bash, then invited McAfee into the ring for a few beers. This also ended in a stunner to McAfee. Austin finally made his exit as the crowd cheered him on. Edge begins forming his new heel stable at WrestleMania Sunday. WWE Hall of Famer Edge is getting his new faction. Night 2 of WrestleMania 38 saw Edge defeat AJ Styles after a hard-fought back-and-forth bout. The finish saw Damian Priest appear at ringside, distracting Styles while he was on the apron preparing for a phenomenal forearm. AJ finally went for the move, but Edge met him in midair with a big spear. After the match, Priest entered the ring and dropped down to one knee in front of Edge. Edge also looked on from the one knee as they both began a sinister laugh. Priest and Edge then stood tall together with their arms in the air to end the segment. The angle at WrestleMania Sunday comes after it was reported earlier this week how WWE had plans for a new heel stable for Edge on Raw. The report noted that WWE had discussed members of the group, including Priest. There's no word yet on who else will be added to the new stable with Edge and Priest or what they will be called, but we will keep you updated. Triple H makes surprise WrestleMania 38 appearance, leaves his boots in the ring. WWE Executive Vice President of Global Talent Strategy and Development Paul Triple H Levesque made a surprise appearance to open Night 2 of WrestleMania 38 at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas last night. After America the Beautiful performance by Jesse James Decker, the familiar music of the game hit and out came Triple H to a huge ovation. The entrance went for a few minutes as Triple H took it all in and even did his signature pose from the apron. Fans chanted his name and then chanted "Thank you, Hunter," as he thanked them with a show of respect. Triple H then took the mic and said he just wanted to come out and thank everyone and show them his love in the best way he knows how. He then welcomed everyone to WrestleMania as the pyro and the fireworks went off with the music starting up. The camera came back to the ring as we saw Triple H's boots sitting in the middle as a sign of his recent in-ring retirement. Triple H then exited the ring and greeted some of his family members at ringside before heading up the ramp to the back. As we've noted, Triple H has been in Texas for WrestleMania 38 happening since earlier in the week. He appeared at the WWE tryouts in Frisco, Texas earlier on Thursday, and he also appeared at the revealing of the 2022 WWE Hall of Famer The Undertaker's life-size statue. He also made a surprise appearance at a WWE talent meeting. This is the most public work Triple H has done since suffering the cardiac event last fall. Cody Rhodes on meeting with Triple H after taking shots at him in AEW. After his massive return to WWE at WrestleMania 38, Cody Rhodes spoke about his return, time in AEW coming to an end, and why he was ready to move during the next day's media scrum. The former AEW TNT champion also spoke about the conversation he had with Triple H before his match, given all the crap he talked about during his time in AEW, which included destroying Triple H's iconic throne. We did speak, and I think Triple H did it in such a Triple H fashion, Cody Rhodes said. Everybody had come on the bus to say hello, talk a little bit about what may happen, and the very last one was Triple H. My former assistant from AEW came as a friend, and he was on the bus, and he knows the world's worst kept secret that Hunter is my favorite wrestler. That was really starts to tear up. Geez, this has been a wild, tear-filled weekend, but it was just a good moment. Also to see him healthy, and I know the retirement came as it did, but to do some justice to not only see my favorite wrestler and somebody that, gosh, I wanted to model so many things after and such, Seth being his protege, and to be able to give some of those fan service moments for the fans and also for Triple H, that was really touching. Especially, you've got to put it in perspective. I talked a lot of smack. I destroyed his throne. I was very loud, very intent on getting angry. I was just angry, and that was just a moment of no anger, because why would I be angry? You guys are paying me this absurd amount of money and I get to be me. I get to be me, and especially coming from where I had left here, there's nothing to be angry about. It's more of a matter of one chapter ended, a beautiful chapter in AEW, which I'm so proud of. And then to start this new chapter here, I just kept saying out there, finish. And I wasn't talking about the match, but finish as far as what's next, what I started here. I have to finish, if that makes sense. But I spoke right before with him, and I'm very excited to see him. New Tag Team Champions crowned on Night 2 of WrestleMania 38. Sasha Banks and Naomi are your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Last night's WrestleMania 38 Night 2 event saw Banks and Naomi win a fatal 4-way to capture the titles. The match also featured Natalya and Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, and the former champions Carmella and Queen Zelina Vega. Banks and Naomi hit a double team move on Carmella for the victory. This is the first WWE Women's Tag Team title reigns for Banks and Naomi together. Carmella and Vega won the titles back on the November 22nd edition of Raw by defeating Ripley and Nikki ASH. They held the titles for 131 recognized days. So what are your thoughts on today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak for you again very, very soon.